New Photographic Chemistry has its origins back in 2014 when I visited a local second-hand bookshop, Daisy Lane Books, and it reached another significant stage in the summer of 2016 when I returned some of the work back to the same bookshop in the form of a pop-up style installation. The title derives from a book that I bought on the previous visit, a textbook of photographic chemistry. It's a 1963 publication, a chemistry book in effect, and I'm no chemist, and my photography was all digital, so it felt like I was encountering a language that meant nothing to me, almost resembling some ancient writing that had lost its significance and become detached from its meaning. At least it had for me. And thinking about the way that photography itself can detach its subjects, it set off this creative project which involved all sorts of actions: studio-based photography, layers of digital manipulation, physical actions such as cutting and tearing and folding and even burning, printing, including onto fabrics, rephotographing, and often more layers of physical and digital manipulation, all of which has produced some quite complex, colourful, and I think even seductive images. The process always starts with something in the book, often a graph or a diagram. I'm appropriating this detached language, the signifiers if you like, from the place where they seem to have lost their meaning. And working digitally, I might strip away elements, gradually reducing everything to a kind of basic shape. And then I might begin to move it around and reconstruct it. I tend to have no specific idea where it's going at this stage, but patterns begin to emerge. And still working digitally, I'll introduce colour. Then I'll probably print the pattern, onto paper of course, but also onto fabrics. That introduces new textures and forms into the process. There's always a touch of play in this, I think, bringing various elements together, both physically and on the screen, photographing and rephotographing as these images begin to develop. Sometimes I've worked just with the text, looking at ways in which digital manipulation can construct resonant abstract forms from the pages of words. But I also moved on to a kind of physical attack on the book, cutting and tearing and eventually deconstructing it completely. I used light in the form of the sun to burn some pages, and I actually set fire to some parts, burning them completely. I've always had a feeling that this project had some sense of return or circularity about it, and there are two ways in which this has already manifested itself. Firstly, having, as I said, physically deconstructed the book, I subsequently bound my own new images back into the original cover of the old textbook, ordering them with some suggestion of a narrative around the project. The old book transformed into something new, if you like, something current perhaps. Secondly, as already mentioned, I installed the project in the form of prints back into the physical space from which it came, Daisy Lane Books. The new, seductive, colourful images merging with the current stock of second-hand books. It's very tempting to read new meanings, of course, and the project is still developing. New images emerging, new ideas on how it might be presented, and I also have a couple more second-hand books from Daisy Lane that I haven't started to work on yet.